come from. It is I, Mr. Tonda. I am in the building on this lovely Sunday. As y'all know, I'm normally just chilling on a day like this. Probably had a couple of shows to produce, but I chose not to today because I am actually joined by a very, very special guest who I purposefully squeezed her in today because she got some amazing information to talk about today in regards to both the organization that she's part of, her career, as well as a very big event coming up that until I spoke to her, I did not know about that. So I definitely now want to not only know more about this event, but more importantly, I want you people to know more about this event because it's a very, very dope idea. I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello, I am Ishelle White. I am a musician turned music business professional. I am the proud owner of MuSample, a content and consultancy based platform to ensure that music artists get a financial return on their musical investments.
Go ahead and clap that up because that is something I think us as African Americans, more importantly, have always had a difficulty when it came to our crafts.
Yeah.
A lot of times we tend to do it out of love and don't understand that we gotta get paid for this sometimes. We gotta get paid for this a lot of times.
It has
Um, Even though I'm not an actual artist, but starting a business like this and whatnot, one of the biggest things that I used to always have issues with was how much do I charge? Or am I supposed to charge? Am I good enough to even ask people to pay me to do something when at the end of the day, I got people telling me I'm not charging enough?
Oh, I've definitely heard that
Like I'm
quite
not
a lot.
charging enough. I've had people pull me to the side and was like, other people who are not even remotely close to being on your level
That part.
is charging in some cases double.
Yep.
Um, so, in the words of Fat Joe, yesterday's prices are not today's prices. Okay. So let me ask you this: what first made you get into music? Period. Let's start there.
Okay. I grew up in a musically inclined family. Like
Okay.
everybody in my family, some way, shape, form, or fashion does music. My uncle, who is the late great Dr. Reverend James White, was a city councilman here, but
Yeah, that's I'm very familiar with
he
that name.
he was a hip hop artist or a positive hip hop artist. I don't know how you want to say it, but and
A
so
conscious rapper.
there we go.
Like you gotta
There
say
we
it
go. A
right.
conscious
Right.
rapper. So when I was growing up, I love songwriting. And he was like, well, you gonna learn the business. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And then he was like, no, you need to study Wendy Day. And I started studying Wendy Day. And then I became more intrigued at how African American artists were like some of the most popular music artists, but they were dying broke or
Yes.
they didn't have money when it came time for their funeral expenses or things like that. And that always intrigued me. And so then I just started following the money. So I grew up musically in a family that music was always there. So that was just something I picked up naturally. And then on the business side, just wondering where the money resides. Ha ha ha.
It's funny that you bring that up because a lot of times we as people we hear the story of older artists with very popular singles and tracks, like you said, dying penniless.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess because our generation or the generations from the 90s on up to now, we didn't look at that could happen to us kind
Yeah.
of a scenario. We always thought that, well, times were different back then. Music industry was raping artists left and right anyway. So,
Yeah.
or we most of the time, someone depending on how old the artist was, they probably didn't know how to read and write
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
or whatever. They would come up with more excuses other than the fact of just saying, "Nah, I won't let that happen to me."
Yeah.
And then some of our favorite artists from the 90s were getting suckered into, like I refer to, the pebble contracts. Okay. And it was funny because a lot of people didn't realize how much the industry screws you over. For those who don't know what a Pebble contract was, is you signed a 3 album deal to a record label. By your third album, you either A, had to bring in new artists under you to
yeah.
create a new publishing thing, which then the original company still takes a large portion of that, but you are no longer required to have to make albums because now you're profiting off of
The
the
new,
other people that you
yeah,
brought in. So it was, to me, the very first pyramid scheme that people didn't realize they were a part of. And this became the norm in the music industry. A lot of people sat back and allowed this to happen. They just thought it was normal.
yeah.
So you have this one guy who has a gang of friends back at home. They already have it planned to bring them on,
Yeah.
not realizing that you're just feeding more into the machine. And then all of a sudden, streaming happened.
Yeah, that's my question right now. Is like, how are artists from the 60s, 50s on up? How are they being compensated for streaming? Because their
And
music is on streaming.
it's on there. A lot of times, I don't think they're being compensated.
I don't think they
I don't
are
think a
either.
lot of artists is, because of the way the music game for the streaming industry works right now. And you could probably answer this better for me than I think I have an idea. Everything is based on spins.
Yeah.
Okay, so for every track that you create, you don't even have to create a whole album anymore. You can create one or
30
two
seconds.
songs, and if it makes it on the playlist, that increase your spins. Then for every spins you get a certain percentage on the dollar. So
Yeah.
pennies. Let's just say 10 cents. That's probably like being generous, to be
Yeah,
honest
that
with
was
you.
highly generous.
That's probably being generous, but you get 10 cents. So if you get a million spins because your song has been circulating through a bunch of playlists, you're not getting as much as you thought you were getting. You're not
Right.
getting $1 million.
Right.
You're maybe getting 100,000 at the most. But for
Or
some people,
somewhere up in there.
yeah, somewhere up in there. But for more people, you made one song and you made 100,000. You don't think twice about that.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting out another song and another song and another song, but you have no protection on that song.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I do. I talk about the music administration of
Right.
it, because most artists think some record at home. I'm
Right.
grateful that many artists are able to do that. But some go to the studio and then it's like, where's the next place? Let me upload it to a digital service provider, TuneCore, United Masters, DistroKid, whoever. And then it's like, okay, I'm getting on a playlist, but you skipped like 15 different steps you were
Right.
supposed to do before that to ensure that you actually get royalties for your money.
And that's what was going to be my next question. So I know we skipped a bunch of steps. One of the biggest concerns that I have right now, and I've been noticing this a lot lately because of the TikTok trends, where people are cutting and pasting what you've already done, and then they're doing their work on top of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the original artist is not getting any of that profit from that. Prime example, what's her name? Is it Nico?
Oh, see, we are on the same page, because I
Okay.
was just about to say her,
Yeah.
because
So-
her first song went crazy.
Right. But right now, I think this is where the biggest thing, like I have a lot of friends that listen to her, but it wasn't until she did this a cappella recently.
Yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
She ended up turning it into a song. But my concern was not the fact that you had this dope ass acapella, which we can easily, if you look at the visual for it, you knew that there was going to be a song tied to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the song because of her acapella. I heard the song because everybody of every race, creed, and color was doing some either work over on top of it, or one of my
Remixing
favorite,
it.
or remixing it. And it's like, that remix is fire. This remix has been played at least on TikTok
Yeah.
3 million times.
Then it crossed over to Instagram.
And then now it's on
Facebook.
Instagram and all these different other places. There's somebody who just made money off of her. Now, I feel like she's a smart artist, so somewhere along the line, she's got to be getting paid somehow. But everybody's not that smart.
See, so when her first song that she did blew up, I was like, I should send her a message. And I actually sent her account and a message, because I'm a music administrator.
Right.
I want to know. I want to make sure that the metadata is tagged. Every piece has an ISRC code from the video to the the audio that's being used. So wherever it go, it could be, counted.
Right.
So however many times it's remixed, chopped up, whatever, there is meta stamps up in there where she could get her money. But it's actually funny you say that, because today when I was on LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn and you're an artist, you definitely should get there. There was conversation about that, about her being able to like upload it, and then everybody else remixing. Like
Right, because that's like the
but
new thing now.
that's where I say to like music artists, like you want to make sure that your stuff is registered, you have all of the metadata, everything embedded, because it all it takes is 30 seconds and your song could like shoot to the moon
Okay,
and the
and I'm
stars.
glad you're bringing in something that I want to go back to. First of all, let's assume that we know what it is, but we're talking to people who've never. What is metadata and why is it so important?
Metadata is the information tagged into your music, and it's important because if you ever listen to a song and you like try to Shazam it and it say no data found, that means that there is no information on that actual song. Metadata is like the ISRC code, the BPMs,
Okay.
who owns it, who recorded it, who produced it, all of that information tagged into the music.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. And this is probably something that a lot of people have been in Facebook jail because of. Is the metadata the reason why when an individual plays something on Facebook, they immediately get flagged?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it that we get flagged though?
Because there are like licenses and agreements that Facebook have to adhere to when music is being played on their platform.
Okay.
So, if you're an artist or whoever you are, do not put I do not own the rights to this music.
And that's where I was getting
Because
ready to
you
get
are
at.
admitting to the fact that you know that you don't own the rights to the music, but you're still using it. You're telling on yourself, you're snitching.
But how are we supposed to enjoy great music and we want to share it to the world though?
Outside of platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
But that is the staple in today's society.
And you would think that Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook because they own Instagram, would like create relationships with these
companies,
labels and things
how
like
are
that.
you? This is here. I want you to figure this. I want you to answer this for me. How is your company called Meta, but you don't have a partnership with the metadata itself? You see, this is what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, you would think that that's something you would do.
Right. And the reason why I bring this up is because early in regards to me really getting into the videography side of things with podcasting. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. Anytime we would play the intro, so the same intro countdown, just the countdown, okay, it would get flagged on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I will constantly get this, is it UMG group or something along the line that always be like, they own the right to this. They own the right to this. First of all, who the hell is UMG? And how do y'all own the rights to everything?
Universal Music Group. There, it depends on who created the order. Sometimes like artists use like things like Splice or these royalty free platforms.
Right. I'm notorious for that. I won't lie.
And then like the major label artists or the producers for the major label use those same platforms. So then, some of those same instruments you chose are often being chosen by them. And then, it's always like we were here first. And so you like, I'm gonna be real, like I do meditations, right? I compose them all, not using any samples or anything. But every time I get hit by Sony and Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sony be out here.
But let me tell you, I know how to do it, right?
We'll have that conversation off air.
I'll tell you how to get around it, because they're bigger. So people be like, oh, let me just take it down. No.
Yeah, because they
nothing down.
Sony be coming for me on YouTube, and I dispute it every time, and then they back off.
They come for me, and then I hit them back, and because they so used to people like, oh, okay, let me just it's a no.
I tell them, I'm like, nah, fam, this is me. I had it first. Let me give you the stamp date here.
Yeah, and then that's why metadata is important, because you have all of that information, so you can.
So let me ask you this question: should podcasts have metadata?
Yes.
And here's the reason why I ask, because a lot of times it's just mostly opinions, conversations. And I don't see people really be like, oh, well, I own the right to a conversation that clearly came out your mouth.
You ever see you on TikTok and
I
Instagram,
got to be
right?
everywhere. I'm a business baby.
Okay. That's what I be saying. Music artists should be everywhere. Anyways, so you see like people chop up other people's videos and then put like their watermarks or whatever on top of the other people's videos
I've seen.
and then post it on their page.
Right.
That's why everything should be timestamp, meta stamped,
Okay.
all of those things.
I got you. So basically, what you're saying is, if somebody clipped this conversation into their song, I need to get paid.
Yeah, we definitely.
Okay, I got you.
Of course.
I got you.
Run me my
What are
money.
some of the biggest barriers that you've seen artists came across trying to kind of get their music license in this particular situation?
I think the biggest barrier is education.
Okay.
And I say that because a lot of music artists are thinking in the traditional way, but with the advancements in technology and everybody has a phone or watch or tablet or everything in their hand, like they're not utilizing those things. Like I was just literally saying to someone else, like, you remember back in the days where people had to go to radio stations and pull up on radio shops
You had to
and
pull
stuff
up on DJs to get your spins.
and do all of that, where right now, like even with playlisting, everyone's like, oh, let me, like artists are really paying like hundreds of dollars to be on a playlist for a week. And I'm like, hey, listen, if you know 5 people and they have Tidal, Apple, Spotify,
Right.
they make playlists. We all make playlists
We do.
for what we do. If you can get 10 people to put you on a playlist that they're going to play regularly, that's better than having yourself on spending hundreds of dollars for a playlist on a week that you're going to be number 80 on the
True.
playlist. Who's going to listen? Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Literally, because most playlists are curated by regular people.
Yeah.
So just simply having someone on your Facebook say, hey, check this song out, add it to your favorite playlist.
You work out. This song should definitely be on
Right.
a workout playlist.
Hey, that's how I got into Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Literally, somebody was like, I like this album, and I listened to it. It got in my playlist, and next thing you know, there's a bunch of people I know that now listen to Mac Miller.
Yeah, that's how it always go. You a lot of people, you like growing up, you listen to certain people because it was played in your house.
Right. This is true.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever would have listened to Nita Baker on my own. But I knew Auntie played it, Mama played it.
Yeah.
So I know all the words to Anita Baker songs. But okay, so let's backtrack a little bit here. Now, earlier we were talking about how there are steps that needs to be taken, and a lot of time we skip some of those steps. What are some of the key things that an artist or anybody who's creating content, because now it's getting to the point where this can work across the board.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things that an individual should look to do in the beginning just to make sure that they're at least in the right direction?
First, establish yourself as a business.
Okay.
That's first. Get you an LLC, get you an EIN, get you a bank account. Establish yourself as a business. Number 2, if you are a music creative, trademark your name.
Isn't that expensive?
In the state of Wisconsin, it's $15 to trademark your name. The federal worldwide, or not worldwide, the federal one is $250.
Okay, that's the one.
But if we're talking about, we're not really talking about expensive because we spend money on everything.
This is true. Just one pair of Jordans that you just got to skip.
That's a whole trademark right there.
You can literally trademark yourself and set up a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, I know people don't be like when you say that, but it's like, oh, I don't got the money, but you do.
You technically, well, I look at, this is how I had to start looking at stuff when I was growing this business. I'm spending $300 now.
It's an investment.
But I can make $3,000 within a few weeks off of that.
Yeah.
So if you don't invest, plus when you spend $300 on a name, you gonna get your money's worth out of it. You're not just gonna
just be like, okay, I just spent. See, that's where I be saying where music artists will spend thousands of dollars to create the music videos, but they don't think about how they gonna get that $1,000.
Do you think it's because nobody has ever sat down and actually did what you did for them?
I believe again it's the education.
Maybe you should start teaching classes.
That's what I'm working on right now.
You know how to find me.
I got you.
Go ahead and record them so you can be able to put them on your website. Have this virtual learning course. I got you, fam. No, because I honestly, like I said, a lot of stuff about me growing my business and my brand, I literally had to piecework learn it,
Yeah.
and I honestly felt like if somebody sat down and
Had
these
it all in one
in a
place.
music appreciation class, because it's
Yeah.
something we all take in high school in one shape or form. While you sitting here making me learn how to play the clarinet to be in this class, maybe this is something I could be learning over here instead, like the business side of things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not meant to be the rapper, but maybe I am great to be the agent.
See, that's another thing that I also be encouraging because everybody is like, uh, the music industry is oversaturated.
Very much so.
It's oversaturated. And I feel like if more music creatives had the education behind it, they will see that a lot of the money isn't really in being an artist.
It's not.
It's in everything other
It's
than
not.
that.
Um,
Oh, that sounded so weird to say, but that's the truth.
no,
And I'm
it's
going to
true.
tell you the truth.
It's true. I learned that back. I'm gonna tell my age. I learned this back when Ice Cube first left NWA.
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of people didn't see the Straight Outta Compton movie, but the movie only showed a portion of
Yeah.
what he learned after breaking away from the group. When he was working with Public Enemy, and Public Enemy is a whole conglomerate, and they
Yeah.
all handled
Collective.
everything on their own. When he started working with them, he started learning that there was more things that he could do.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he's supposed to be up front, because people tend to forget Ice Cube was also one of the main writers
Yeah.
for NWA. So there was a whole nother aspect of the business that he lost thought on. So that's the main reason why he was always so adamant about his money. It wasn't the fact that Jerry Heller was cheating out of him of his money up front. Jerry Heller was pocketing money that he could have been getting as a secondary source, which would have been a lot of back end stuff.
Yep.
And then now that I've been watching the Wu-Tang saga, and I grew, of course, majority of us grew up on Wu-Tang. I have a better appreciation for Divine's character.
Yeah.
Because Divine would be basically what you were.
Yeah.
Where he eventually was the person who managed and handled all the money, the business, making sure the artists was where they were, making sure things was legal. And there was one particular episode in this last season.
See, I ain't get that far yet.
Okay. I'm not telling nothing, because you got to watch it to really get it. But it was Old Dirty had already got his contract and everything. And he now was getting ready to do the song with Mariah.
Right.
Okay. Dirty ended up getting someone to be his manager. Okay. Then you had Capadonna, who just recently got signed. Ghostface has a phenomenal deal on the table for his first album. And then Raekwon is being Raekwon. Raekwon is I didn't realize how much of a jerk he was until you really watched the whole show. And bro was problems. But Divine is, and he also has the record label in his ear about Jizza getting his album done. So he's sitting here trying to manage about 4 to 5 different personalities. Oh, and Deck. He still had Deck trying to get his situation. So I never really realized how much that he had to work with in regards to being not necessarily just an agent, but being a person who made sure everybody was properly getting paid for their roles. And the reason why I said RZA was being a jerk, because in the midst of it all, RZA had a one-track mind that I'm the artist and my money should be 100% of what goes to me, while Divine is trying to teach him the business.
Yeah.
Trying to say, no. You get paid what you get paid, but this is how much really got made.
Yeah.
So this person over here, the company, they got their cut off top. Secondly, all this lavish stuff that you guys are randomly asking for in regard to your deal, that's not something that they're doing for free. You're losing out on part of your money from that too. Number 3, if we advance you $1 million for a music videos, if you don't return that million, we're going to take it on the back end. We're going to take it off of here. We're going to take it off. It was so many different places where money was being pulled from. And at the end of the day, RZA's own mind was, well, I'm the artist and I'm promised $700,000 for what I'm doing on my project. I should get my $700,000.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you shouldn't.
You're not even paying attention.
You're not paying attention to what it's just like saying, if you go to a job and you work a 9 to 5 and you bring home a $700 check, but during that time frame, you charged all these different things
Yeah.
using the company's card that was not company related. Well, of course they're gonna take that money out your $700. So now you got a $250 check because you bought a pair of shoes for $500. You went on these business deals, but you didn't get nothing
Got
out the
that nice
deal.
limo. Got
Yeah, you
that.
you
Yeah.
you wined and dined this client, and the client said no. The company's not gonna eat that, fam.
Yeah. You got to take that. That's what when I was watching, I would watch documentaries. I would read. I'm when I tell you, I would go down the rabbit hole. Like I don't understand. And then Cadillac Records came out, and I was like, it makes so much
Cadillac
sense.
Records is a very underappreciated movie.
That movie taught so much, taught me so much, and I just started really following the money.
Right.
And then I was just like, you know what? That's so strange how many of the people who make the decisions on music don't even play an instrument or not
Exactly.
even familiar with music.
Not
So they
even
wouldn't
from
even know like they don't know. They just know like if you need a new house or you need a big chain, we're gonna deduct that from what you got up over here. Here you go.
and that is why a lot
You're
of
gonna
people
be
don't
happy.
understand so many record labels were so quick to jump and sign rappers
Yeah.
because one, it was a whole demographic that was untapped.
Untap.
So it was basically free money in their
Yeah.
pockets. But at the same time, a lot of the artists were so in glamour with trying to live the lifestyle that they rapped about
Yeah.
that they didn't realize you're really just eating your money up before you even get an opportunity to see it.
And they were never taught that.
They were never taught that. And that's why record labels got over. So that's why now with a complete shift, Master P is I thank you for this. You basically make independence artists is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, where you don't need the record labels to be able to be successful, and then with streaming companies like Spotify, Apple, Tidal, I think there's one more out there.
Pandora. There's
Pandora.
actually a
See, in
lot of 'em.
Pandora, I've always been confused about them because they've always felt like a curated playlist more so than us having freedom to choose what we want to listen to.
Yeah.
So I always felt like Pandora to me was the first evolution of radio because we played what the company told us to play, not what you listen to the most.
Yeah.
But that's not where I was going with that. I'm a talker. You let me talk. I'm
no,
gonna talk.
it's I completely understand what you're saying.
Here's my question: as an independent artist, and let's just say I want to start getting out there and I want to get my music out there, and I got all these different streaming platforms. Why would I want to choose one platform over the other? And as a new independent artist, which platform do you feel like is the best one to start with?
First question. I feel like all platforms are monetized. I think it's important for you to just hop on there and see which one works best for you.
Okay. Because the reason why I bring up both questions, because I remember when the birth of Tidal was coming about.
Mm-hmm.
I was working for Samsung, so Samsung had a partnership with Tidal. Because I think that's how we got
Jay-Z's album.
Jay-Z's album
Yep.
free. Like if you
Yep.
bought a Samsung, you got it free and you got Tidal for a year. But one of the biggest things that was always being pushed about it was Tidal was supposed to be better for the artists.
Yeah, because it was run by Jay-Z and they were paying artists more for having their music on the platform, allegedly.
So is that a thing that as a new artist I should really be concerned about? Like, do I want to make my music exclusive to Apple because everybody in America owns iPhones? Or should I go to Spotify where it's a one-stop shop for all of your listening needs, whether it's audible books or podcast or music? Or should I go to someplace like a Tidal who says that, hey, we pay our artists more?
I would say if you are a music artist, I would say uh, get you a website on your name in the domain space. Get you a website and put your music on your website.
Is that still being profitable though?
I mean, what do you mean? Is it
Okay,
profitable?
here's my thing. We live in a day where this mini computer we keep in our hand is how we access everything, right? So more people would download the app before they ever think about pulling up a website.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You could get a you could create an app if you want to. What I'm saying is you're gonna spend $50. Some platforms, digital service providers, United Masters, whatever, charge that $50. You can release as much music as you want, right? So
Mm,
now you're putting up 12 songs, right?
okay.
They're streaming on multiple, Apple, Tidal, whatever. You're only going to get like some pennies and nickels for that song. Where if you
Okay.
have your own website and you have your music there and people can buy it and download it directly from you, which one are you going to get more money from?
So would you say Bandcamp is a good place to start for some people?
I would say that.
Okay, because I know that there's a lot of artists that I personally know that are considered underground or independent, and whenever they announce that they have a new album, the first link they always put out is a Bandcamp link.
Yeah.
So, because I know like one of my favorite artists is out of North Carolina, Tab One. I found him when I was in high school. Well, not high school, college. And I've always followed. So anytime there's a project that him or Cooley High or anybody in the camp drops, I'm immediately going to Bandcamp and I opt to buy it there, even though I know if I wait 2 weeks or something, it'll be on the streaming.
Yeah.
Because it's like $10. So with Bandcamp, does the artist get all of that?
Yeah, you get the largest majority of it. Of course, there's like administrative
Of course,
fees, but
that's
but you get the largest majority of it.
hell, Cash App takes money from you for
Yeah.
using it, so everybody's gonna get their money somehow.
Yeah. But I mean, I would rather. So that's why, like, to answer your second question, I would say, release a song. Take a song that you got, and be heavily on all of these platforms because they are all monetized.
Right.
It's another form of you making money as a creative. So you don't just have to do music on your platform. You could say, hey, I'm about to write to this track and put the track up there, but make
Okay.
sure it's the metadata and all of that stuff is there, and then invite people in.
Okay.
Like right now, we're sitting here talking and people are, going to be watching it. It's like, invite them in, make them feel like they're a part of the process. And then
Okay.
when it's like, oh, I'm about to drop this song, then go over here and buy it. Of course, they'll go and buy it because now why? I feel like I was a part of the process.
You feel special about it. That
Yeah.
song hits different now
Yeah.
because you've seen that
Yeah, I was
person.
there when like you see somebody from the hood or whatever make it big, you be like, yeah, that's dope because I saw them when they got it out the mud. I remember when they was running around handing out mixtape.
All I miss the days of the mixtape. Niggas just catch you in Walmart with hey man, you want to
Sitting
buy my
outside the gas station.
right
Hey,
now? Like I had
know
no
what?
problem giving you $3 for that CD.
I went to Pick a Save over here, right?
Okay.
And a young man handed me a mixtape, and I was like, can I ask you why you just handed me this mixtape? And I got a phone in my hand. And he was like, because I'm trying to be something different. I said, you know what? Let me give you a little insight. It'd be different if you went on like Twitch or YouTube or even TikTok Live or somewhere like that and was like, hey, let me introduce y'all to this tracks I'm working on. And then you say, hey, go check out my website over here. And then you could buy it. Or tell me that you saw it on Twitch and then I'll give it to you for free. Just give me your email.
Build your email list.
Yeah,
You know what's funny? And you said a name. You didn't say a name on purpose, but it made me think. You ever heard of Track Sanders?
I have.
Okay. One of the things about Track that I respect and I love about him is that's exactly what he does. I have sat down on my Facebook Live on numerous occasions and watched him build whole projects with people. I literally bought Alicia Nicole's whole last project she did because I watched it be built.
You see what I'm saying?
I was like, and not even thinking twice until you said that. It was like, damn. This is how
that's how
I really got sucked into that project. And it's crazy. And it was a lot of the songs, of course, were geared towards women and things that they were going through. So I'm not saying that I didn't listen to it, but like after a while, I didn't really listen to it that much, only because the nostalgic of I was here while you made this kind of wore off. But then I sat there, I was like, do you know how many people probably could have bought anybody's music simply because you did this? And this brings back a very important piece that I just thought of not too long ago. So Chloe Bailey recently just released her project, right? And the biggest conversation that was spreading about it was her numbers didn't do as good as people thought it should do.
Right.
Okay. I don't think she was complaining about the
Yeah, I
numbers
don't think she
because
can.
if you go back and you listen to it, it was more of an EP than anything. It was like only
Yeah.
30 minutes when you factor everything in. And the biggest thing was because Beyonce didn't, stamp it and whatnot. But then I have to remember a lot of us really didn't even care about Chloe being solo until she would pop on Instagram or Twitter and do little 30-second,
Second.
one
Yeah.
minute covers of people's songs.
Yeah. Remixes.
And then we are now clamoring and screaming for a Chloe album.
Yeah.
And my thing was like, dang, what if she actually sat down and did 30 seconds of each one of these songs as the build up to the album? Would her numbers have been different?
That could be.
Because
Or
when
the fact that she's living her life right
and
now.
I'm not mad at that because you out here doing movies and
But think about it, right? Has she not been doing those 30 seconds or remixes on all of those different platforms where we saw her a lot?
right.
Will we even care that she has an album?
We probably wouldn't have. Matter of fact, because that started the buzz
No.
of, did they break up? Is she going solo?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, she probably bored because her sister's doing a movie over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So she's doing that. Let me figure out
Let me
something
let
to
me
do.
do something to keep
And she
myself
did the
busy.
perfect thing that I'll be trying to get me other music creatives to do. It's like be active on your social media.
Yeah,
You know how many artists tell me, I don't want to do, I don't want to do those dances. I was like, I don't do dances on my TikTok or
you don't have to
anything.
do the
I
dances to
do
be
what I do
active.
every day. I stream on YouTube, and people's like, "What do you do?" Well, I work out. I do meditations. I'll do puzzles. I make beats. I do everything I would naturally do on a daily basis. It's all about building a connection. If you think about your favorite artist and why do you like them, it's not just because they pretty or they handsome. Now, some people, but
Now, I
it's
don't know.
something
There's
about
some good looking.
it's it's something about them that you identify with. That's what makes you like them.
Right, of course, of course. So, speaking of artists, you have an event coming up.
I do.
Let's talk more about this event. So, first of
Okay.
all, what is it?
It's the MKE Live Groove Edition. So, as a music administrator, I hear music artists all the time talk about they don't have the same opportunities as other artists
Okay.
when it comes to like Brady Street, Center Street, Summerfest, State Fair, Locust Street, all of these different festivals. And so I thought to myself, like, I know that most music artists don't envision what their music will sound like live with a band. Because how many artists are you seeing perform with a band? You don't
You
see
don't
a
see
lot of
that.
hip hop artists perform
Nah,
with bands.
definitely.
And not just hip hop artists, pop artists. You don't see a lot of people perform with bands. And I was like, well, let me do this. Let me get a band and, get some artists to submit their music and pick some artists. And so on next week, Thursday at 7,
We're at.
the Cactus Club will be hosting the first. It's a bi-monthly concert series. So the first show of every series is always an all ages show
Okay.
because most people forget when it comes to talented music artists, they forget that young people are also included in there.
Big
So
facts.
I got 4 of some really. You guys should definitely be there. I was at band rehearsal the other day, dropped a couple of tears, but you should guys should really come because I have 4 amazing young people. I have a spoken word artist who's young also. So each show will have a spoken word opener and then 4, maybe 5 artists
Okay.
performing with a live band.
With a live
A
band.
live band. There's no we gonna plug my USB in. No, it's a live band. You gonna have to feel it. I don't know if you ever been to a concert and it's a different
It's a
feeling.
huge difference when the live.
It's a different feeling.
We talked about this earlier, but I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. I was not a huge Mac Miller fan until I seen his tiny desk.
Yeah.
And the 3, because he picked 4, so he actually had 4 songs, but 2 of the 3 other songs outside the intro song, I fell in love with to the point where it is literally part of my everyday routine because the fact to hear the band and Thundercat live
Yeah.
made that song
It
hit
changes the dynamic of the
different.
music.
So different. There was a movie. I cannot remember the name of the movie. It was probably garbage. It probably should have been on Tubi, but because it was so old, it was a movie that had Pras from the Fugees in it. and he was an aspiring artist. And him and his dad was estranged, of course, but his dad was a musician. You know, the typical musician dad ran off and
Hmm.
chased his career, left the family. You know, one of those situations. And he was working on his album, but he was heavy into the synthesizers and the beat machines and stuff like that. And while working on it, his dad says, "Is that a keyboard or is that a piano?" And he's like, "It's a keyboard." It's like, I can tell. No one's going to like the song because they can't feel the song. So one day his dad told him, meet me at, it was some symposium or some place like that. And his dad was just sitting there in this big open space
Now I
with a
want to watch this
huge
movie.
baby grand piano. And he was just playing some song. And he was playing his son's song. And it just sounded so different and it hit so different. And it's to the point where anytime I hear a song that has a piano in it,
Yeah.
not a keyboard, but a piano in it, I instantly gravitate to it. I think that was the number one reason why when DJ Quick grew up in his music
Yeah.
and he switched over, Rhythmalism was the very first album where it's still G Funk, but it feels like you really have the band in there. And I
Yeah.
noticed a huge difference in his sound. I was a huge fan of his next three
I
albums.
I tell people like some of the greatest music that has ever been created always has horns, synths,
Yes.
organ, percussion, and strings.
Yeah.
If you think about all the classic songs that you will play to this very day, they have those instruments in
Anytime you gotta let the drummer get some, it's a fire. It's a
it.
fire album. It's a fire
Every
song.
time there's a live instrument, say like it's not like popular because
Right.
all of like the 808s and stuff is popular, but
It's not popular because there's so much work that has to be done, and a
yeah,
lot of artists don't want to put in the quick work. Like you have, I don't know what it is about the hip hop world right now, but if you can cut out as many people as possible and just be the one person who was successful, that's the route that they want to go. Where they doesn't understand, like your first, going back to Wu Tang, prime example. RZA did so much work with just, damn, you haven't seen season three, and I don't want to
yeah,
give nothing
no,
away.
don't tell me, don't tell me.
But we all know that the first album and the second album had a completely different
Yeah,
feel to it. And one of the biggest things was the way RZA changed up what the sound was. And go finish season three. You are going to appreciate season three because once again, Raekwon, being the asshole that he was, there was a part where when RZA figured out how he wanted the new sound for Wu Tang to be, Raekwon had a huge issue with it. He literally had such a big issue that one of my favorite songs on the second album may not have been, and it's their biggest hit today, which is Triumph. None
and
of that would.
why do you like that song?
Why do I like Triumph? I like. Well, let me take that back. I actually like the intro for the first album, which eventually leads into Triumph, but it's the strings. If you really pay attention to that whole second
I just said
album,
it's a
the
good
string,
songs.
it's so much strings in there. So then to watch season three and to figure out how we
I gotta
even
watch
got
this.
here,
I gotta watch. I love any documentary, movie, anything created around music artists. That's why I said Cadillac Records taught me
right?
so much.
I love any artist who allows you to see the process.
the process.
There is an artist out of Canada. Um, I want to say his name is Classic. It's with a K.
Classic with a K is from here.
No, that's a different Classic there.
Oh, I'm
What
like,
is?
Classic with
I
a
gotta
K
look for
from
it.
right up
You're
the
right.
street.
It's like I've seen this somewhere before. Like too many classics, people. But I'm
That's
trying to
why it's
remember his
important to
name.
trademark your name because
Right. Exactly. I just thought about that because that is such a big, like certain things like the word
Lady
classic.
A and Lady A and Lady Antebellum or not Antebellum, Lady A and Lady A. That's a perfect example.
But he has this song where he builds the beat in the song. Like he's rapping about everything he's doing, but during the song, he's legitimately building the song. So you're hearing the messed up parts of it. You hear him trying different snares that are not working. You hear him putting the percussions, the instrumental, him putting the backing tracks on you, and he's rapping everything he's doing while doing it. And then after he does all of it, he doesn't even keep the beat. Like the whole song is the beat, but the final version, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna use this. And he gives it to one of his new artists, and then literally his new artist sings over it. So while the artist is singing over it, it becomes the chorus. So literally in this song, he's built this whole song about building this song, and to me, it's like one of my favorite songs.
No, that's dope. That's what I be. That's why I encourage artists to get
See,
on
now I
like
gotta find
YouTube
it.
and Twitch, and Kick. It's all these different platforms. They're all monetized, and build. And when you build, you create fans, and when you create fans, you can say, "Hey, I got this merch over here. Go buy it," and they'll buy it because they've been a part of the process. My favorite process person to watch is Cardi B.
Why?
Because we saw Cardi B when she came in and she didn't look how she look now, but when she came in, she said she gonna be somebody or I'm gonna be somebody, and y'all gonna remember that. And you watch her go from loving hip hop to like the stages, to Grammys, to who she is now. And then she's like, she's heavy on her social media.
She is. You know what? As much as Cardi B's music is very pussy rap, as I like to refer to it as, she's honestly very scandal free.
Which is shocking, isn't it?
Like she's honestly very like she doesn't get caught up in scandals or
Shocking. You
drama.
know, when she was talking about all the blood and all that stuff, you would have
Mhm.
thought like she would have got caught up in some of that.
Mm.
Shocking, isn't it?
She's very like she dropped the
Yeah.
album, she did her music, and I was gonna go ahead and be a mama over here.
I'm gonna pop out on my social media from
Right.
time to time.
I'll talk about coronavirus, and I'm gonna mind my business. And I got to give her credit. That's another thing. As an individual who is helping artists get busy, get better, how do you deal with those artists who just can't seem to separate ignorancy from the music?
I don't,
Okay, why not?
because I enjoy peace and I enjoy light, love, and positivity. And I'm in that space in my life. And if it brings me any kind of, I'm not with it. I will refer you to the next best person. Swiftly.
Classified. That's his name. I wasn't gonna give up until I figured it out.
I figured that much.
Like I was listening to it all the time. I was like, I'm gonna find this dude.
Classified. I'm gonna have to check this out.
It is one of my favorite
It's
tracks.
classified with a K, right?
Nope, he's spelled the same way. The way it's supposed to be spelled. See, now I gotta go look for the album. Is it on Apple Music? Because when I got the album, it was still in EP form. Hitchhiking Music.
This one right here.
Yep. Is it on Hitchhiking Music? Nope, it's on. It's gonna be on Boycott the Industry.
That's funny.
Oh, that's called Boycott the Industry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's not on that one either. Maybe I really do have it only on the E. See, this is what happens when I get to talking music, because now I'm out here finding old stuff. It's probably on the mixtape. And now I got you looking for a song that's on the mixtape, thinking
Oh
it's
no,
on the
I'm gonna
album.
find it because I'm a deep dive. That's what I do. I jump down the rabbit hole. Some people like fall. I jump because I be wanting to see. I be wanting to know. That's like my question. Maybe one of you guys can answer it.
Sure.
I'm 42. I don't have a problem telling my age because I overcome a lot in my life. But I'm 42 years old. How come there has never been a major black record label?
You want me to give you my honest opinion?
Mm-hmm.
When black people find out about how badly they're getting fucked in the music industry, the music game will 110% change. So they gatekeep that. You can have your little independent artists. You can have your own little thing. You can even try to start up your own major label, but we're going to control your distro.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're going to control your publishing, or we're going to control your licensing. We're going to somehow, some way make it be that there is someone of Caucasian descent with a major foot in the door until we sit down and actually open our own distribution. We have our own legal recourse company, and we have artists who do not allow the name to overrule what you could do with this black owned company. We're never going to have a major label. And that's the way it is with black people for everything. We feel like, hey, if I go over here and work with this Jewish guy, he'll give me 50% off the total cost.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing that that Jewish guy is only giving you 50% off because number one, that's income he never had before. So charging you 50% is still 100% profit to him because it was zero before he knew you. And he now has a foothold in it because now he creates competition with the group of people that he never really had any ideas of thinking about to begin with, which is why a lot of major rock and roll labels started taking rap artists because that was a lane that they were never in.
And it was lucrative.
It was
still lucrative.
Still lucrative to this day. As me and my friends last night while doing the podcast, we pulled up Def Jam artists because we were just having a conversation about who's the most profitable Def Jam artist, right? And as I look at the label and see the artists that are there are artists I've never heard of before. So then I start thinking, Def Jam is the oldest hip hop label.
Classic.
Okay. Like to the point where some folks would just burn their bridge and take 2 back-to-back Pebble contracts to just say they were on Def Jam.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how major their name was. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know none of y'all. Whose fault is that? Is that the fault of the artists themselves of not trying to put themselves out there to be known more? Or is that the fault of the label? And then is it really the fault of the label? Or does the label have a certain marketing strategy that these 20 artists right here are just not ready? When we live in a world where you as an independent individual could probably get yourself out there more
quicker
than being on a label, why are we giving labels so much control? Chance the Rapper proved that you don't have to be on a label to even get a Grammy. So the question is why do we even need labels anymore?
That's because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get deep.
No, you're fine. I asked that question because everyone always talks about like Cash Money and Bad Boy and QC and all these other ones, LaFace, all of these other black mid-majors, should I say, record labels. But why haven't they all come together and was like, hey, you know what? Let's do this for our people.
With the exception of well, let me back that up. Every single record executive individual that was in charge of the creation of every last one of those labels started those labels because they got fucked over by another label. Okay. With the exception of Master P. Okay. Master P said, I am not going to be broke. And he was going to find one way or another to get out the hood. And he successfully got out the hood 3 different ways. Okay. Every hood nigga dream is to be a successful drug dealer, to be a successful athlete, and to be a successful musician. He did all 3.
Yeah.
Okay. But everybody else all started simply because they got screwed over by the previous company. Okay. LaFace screwed over Diddy, which is how we got Bad Boy. No Limit initially wanted to partner with P. But because P got so big, he couldn't give Slim and Baby the attention that they wanted. So Slim and Baby started their own thing. Aftermath came out the fact of the fuck deal with Ruthless Records. Okay. Everybody got screwed over. So regardless of how much we're here for the people, we can't trust each other no more. The last person we worked with did us wrong. So we instantly don't want to partner with nobody else. And then 2, greed. The music industry has made artists feel the need that they have to always get taken care of first. Therefore, one producer won't be so quick to combine a conglomerate with another producer because somebody is going to get cut out the deal. When too many hands is in the pot at one point in time, somebody's going to have an issue because they didn't get that piece of fish that they wanted.
Right.
Not saying that there's not a lot of fish in there, but you didn't get the one you wanted. So now you got a problem. I don't like this idea. I don't like working with these many people. I can do bad all by myself. So now they'll rather go take all their people over here and go do their own things. Or one particular label at this moment in time might be very successful while the other ones are a little bit behind. So they was like, well, I'm the big man. I should call the shots. Now, when your artists are no longer being the big person, you don't want to lose that title of being the biggest person in the room. There was a point in time where So Def ran the South. Okay? Am I not right?
You're right.
The point in time where you didn't go nowhere and JD didn't have his hands on anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine partnering up with the up and coming Diddy, or partner up with the Master P, or partner up with the now solo Snoop Dogg. Well, eventually, So Def fell backwards. It wasn't as big as it used to be. Chris Cross wasn't crossing out no more. Okay? All you had was Bow Wow. You can't expect to still be the main person calling shots in the rooms no more.
Yeah, but I mean that's why I always like, how come, like, why doesn't it exist? Like, you guys all know what it's like to be in the music industry and get ripped off, but why do you turn around and do the same thing that was done to you to other people?
Because you're taught to do that.
And that's why I say education is important.
Think about the Pebble deal. At the end of the day, what did the Pebble deal really teach people? Oh, this is just how the business works. So the minute I sign this contract, I got to go find 3 other people to do the same thing to them.
That's why I'm here to educate the opposite. Like, I educate people to go the traditional route. I remember when artists would come to me and be like, yeah, I'm about to make a mixtape. And I was like, hey, can you answer this for me? What is the purpose of a mixtape? Oh, to let people know who I am and what I do. Okay, then why do you have 7 of them?
You're not supposed to release every single thing.
In my mind, it says you are surrounded by people who didn't care about like building a team, figuring out who your fan base was, and then targeting those people. You just had people that were like, "Yes, man." Like, okay,
Right.
we on mixtape number 7. If I don't know who you are or what you do by mixtape number 1, you probably should change your approach.
And that's the thing. A lot of people want the yes men.
A lot of people want even like with social media, a lot of people post their song up and say, hey, go get it here. But you just say, go get it on Spotify. But I got Apple. You're not even talking to me.
Right. You're not even making you're not making me feel. One, why would I want to listen to your song?
There we go.
Just because I know you. Like, I can go right now and drop a whole comedy album. I have 2,000 followers on Facebook. I can't expect all 2,000 of them to go buy it because they don't know, one, what's my content like? What am I talking about? Is it relatable?
I didn't even know he was a comic.
Right. Did you just do this because you just want to do something? What can I go see you live? You know, like what makes me want to buy your album? Meanwhile, Ali Sheed, I can go on YouTube and find so many small little skits and stuff that he's done. I can go to Comedy Central and hear the story about Mexicans got on boots. And literally, have you ever seen that one? No. Oh, you gotta see that one.
But it made me laugh because when you think of Mexicans, you think of boots and hats.
But you gotta hear why his story is far beyond that. But the fact that there's enough groundwork that when the comedy CD dropped, I wanted to go get it because I know what his material is like.
Yeah,
I feel like mixtape should only do that. Mixtape should only be there for you to either improve your skills. Try something new. Jump on a beat or two that's fire out right now that you legally can't.
I'm gonna take it to a whole nother level, right? Stop spending money on mixtapes. Get on these social platforms. If you like a beat, everybody's doing it. And I'm telling you, do it because every platform is monetized. Make sure that you register your music before you hop on there and do these covers or freestyles. Register your music and then go and take the Corey Lorraine, whatever her name is, take her beat and do a freestyle over it. Or TikTok, there's always producers like, hey, rap over this beat. Long as you register your music, tag it, do all the stuff that you need to do it. That's going to let people know that you rap or that's gonna let people know that you sing or you write or you produce, get on these different platforms and say, hey, who got a hot 16 on here?
Mm. That actually now with the world we
It's the
live in, that
digital.
actually
That's
makes
what I'm saying. It's the
digital.
digital
That's the
age.
adjustment to the digital age. But we have come to the end of this one. We can't give everybody everything because at this point in time, me and you be done talked, and there'll be a whole somebody out there writing everything down. We want them to have to come to you to get the rest.
Hey, I respect
It's a
that.
business
I
first.
respect that.
But go ahead and everybody tell them about the event once again, where they can go ahead and get the tickets
The
from.
event is the MKE Live Groove Edition. You can get the tickets on Eventbrite. Just type in MKE Live Groove Edition, and purchase them from there. And there are tickets. Their tickets right now is at $15, and they will no longer be $15 on the 27th at 12. That's when they stop being 15, and after that it's 25.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and order some tickets in a few. And what time does it start?
Doors open at 6, and it's
Okay.
going to start exactly at 7. I know you're looking at my skin color and like, no, it's gonna start about 7:38. No, it's gonna
No,
start
no, no. Hold on
exactly
now.
at 7.
Because the funniest thing in the world, somebody posted a thing. It was like, Janet and Luda on tour right now, right? They was like, yeah, Janet and Luda don't play. Show's supposed to start at 7. Janet and Luda on stage 7:01.
Yep.
So if professionals
That's
can do it,
that's
why
how
can't
that's
we?
how it is. And if you are a music artist that's looking to be a part of the MKE Live Groove Edition, on my profile, on my page, on I Shall Midwest Hummingbird White on Facebook, I have posted multiple videos and statuses. Tag on any one of that. Tag your social media and your favorite song. Not everybody else's favorite, but your favorite song. Because
Okay.
what I realize is that people, when you think about your favorite song, it's not what other people
It's
will
not.
listen to. And I want to hear what your favorite song is, because then that tells me more about you as an artist than,
It is because I noticed that I had created a show a long time ago. I'm actually gonna bring it back since the radio station is up and running now. It used to call Sound Dropping, where basically I play B-side tracks and songs that you never knew existed. Because a lot of times the lead single is not the best song.
Yep.
Not the best song.
And it's always the one that you wanted to like put as the lead that always hits.
Right. Because that's how I actually like the Dale. I didn't care for Rolling in the Deep. But the rest of the album,
Yeah.
ooh, 21 was fire.
Yeah.
And I still listen to Turning Tables now. I feel like I go to the bar and listen to Turning Tables like I just lost my love of my life or something like that. Because it hits. It's just, that's hands down, will always be my favorite Adele album.
If you're looking to how you can get in touch with me, I'll give you all of my information. But it's I Shall White on every platform, or Midwest Hummingbird, or Shell's Closet. But he'll have all the information to
Mm-hmm.
Musample, MUSAMPLE. It's on all platforms. I'm literally everywhere where every music creative should be.
It's on all of the things.
Everywhere.
So we will definitely have her back because this was a very interesting conversation. I want to sit down and really talk music. But I want you guys to hire her first. She definitely gonna get y'all
Show
right.
me the money.
Hire her because she dropped enough jewels here that it should at least get your foot in the door, but you're not going to get the rest done without her. So definitely make sure you hire her. Make sure you check us on all the platforms, that's Speaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever else you listen to your podcast at. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. And like I said before, also make sure you listen to us on Tone Deaf Radio, Milwaukee's own pod station, where it's podcast first, everything else is second. With that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace.